Hey, neighbor.
Hey, neighbor. Welcome to our podcast.
Thanks for having me.
My name is Bibi.
I'm Mimi.
And I'm Gio.
Hi, Gio. Welcome to our lair. I don't know.
Oh, today we're not. This is not. I do not want to claim this space.
This is true. This is actually a community space. We're out in public.
I always used to be called mugrosa. What? People would call me mugrosa because I was the darkest kid.
It wasn't
and they
mocosa?
thought I was dirty. También mocosa, all of that.
Yeah. So the Hispanic community needs to get over its preconceived notion that the darker you are, the worse off you are.
Yeah,
Okay,
they also
first of
called me
all,
mosca.
I was always
'Cause I
referred
was
to
little
as a
and black.
child as either Tina Turner or Negrita or my just little afro or something. Like
I was
literally.
jetas.
What does jetas mean?
Big lips.
Oh,
My
All
grandma.
of our family nicknames were descriptive. Like I have one cousin that's caderas.
oh.
I have another one that's chaparrita. I have
Shorty.
one that's morro.
Oh,
Short,
shit.
round one.
Oh.
I have, my mom is Glenny, but that's because she can't see, and my grandpa didn't say ours.
Hold on, I gotta backtrack.
Moro means-
Moro actually is Moors. It's a black and Muslim group that was in Spain for a really long time. That's why there's actually a really problematic city.
Matamoros.
That's yeah.
Yeah, it's literally
Yeah.
translatable
Interesting.
to.
So that's a lot of history.
They always told us that morro meant like,
Oh, because they're ashamed of what.
I mean,
morro
she's real
actually-
morena. Do you know what I mean?
Beans or whatever.
But it's funny because she's the one that's half white and she's dark as shit.
Oh, of course. But see, that's the thing is that like
And like her mom's like
I'm
one of
all
those like
about-
red faced white people.
I'm like
Yeah.
all about equality and all that, but at the same time, most of the discrimination that I've gotten is within the Hispanic community.
Yeah,
so
we
it's
have
like,
a real issue.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of anti-blackness in the Latino
right,
community.
and I'm just like,
And the thing is, like,
what?
we're rainbow people.
I was also referred to as Celia Cruz all the time. So my family go
great, though.
azúcar all the time, and I'm like, fine, I'll own it, whatever.
Celia Cruz is
So
great.
it was beyond me. I swear to God, the first time I had to explain race versus ethnicity to someone, because I always grew up thinking, yeah, totally. You can be Hispanic and look like Celia Cruz.
Yeah.
But then,
Because you are.
well, to some people though, that is not possible because
They don't get it.
I'm like, wait,
Did you
what?
see that interview with Amara La Negra?
Yes.
Where,
Oh, and people have an issue with Cardi B. Yep.
Yeah.
For that same reason.
oh, well, it's
Latinos
just
are just like people.
all of them. Everybody.
both
yeah,
sides.
everybody's upset because everyone's like, Cardi B's not black or Cardi B's not Latina. And
But she is. She's both.
Yeah, but see,
She's
I'm-
Afro-Latino.
I'm always in the middle. I'm not enough for either one of my parts. Like, I'm not Hispanic enough for the Hispanics, not black enough for
yeah, it's the same.
it's-
I mean,
don't
it's the
know.
same thing here.
So
with,
that's why I'm just like, whatever.
Mexican
I'm a fucking
culture.
alien. I don't care about
I think
you.
it's different because of the additive of like having this idea of the proximity to blackness that you and I will never experience. So I don't know if I
Right.
could ever relate to like having to decide or even think about which type
Race,
of community
yeah, uh-huh.
I would want to fit into, because I know your upbringing. You've shared a lot on the show about how
Yeah.
difficult it's been to be Midwestern and brown,
and to
But you're
sound like
also,
I do and look like I do.
Yeah, but you're also Midwestern and black in a way that some black people don't recognize and some brown people do recognize in a way that's really toxic
Yes,
to you.
because anytime I'm around a large group of Spanish speakers, they will refer to me in English. Doesn't matter if I respond back in Spanish. And so that's the thing. I'm like, I am fucking speaking to you in your native language, which is also my native language.
Right.
I didn't learn this in grade school, bitch. Like I grew up with
in
And
a-
both.
right,
do
same.
Duolingo to speak with you here.
Right, but
like,
it doesn't even matter. Like all the little Latina girls or little Mexicanita girls in Dodge City were always like, whatever, this is for Hispanic girls only. And
Or
I'm
you
like,
have a weird
I'm
accent.
sorry.
I know that's what you
too,
got.
because I had to hide my Puerto Rican dialect because it was ghetto.
Yeah.
According to everyone else. And so my Spanish is now completely altered. It's a hodgepodge of shit. Like it sounds so it's a very unique accent, but I'm really like self-conscious about it for real. Like I'm
You
not even
shouldn't be.
kidding.
It's better than some white girl trying to sound Cubana.
I mean, but at the same time, it's like
I used to work with a white girl like that.
that they're trying. I don't know, but only because I feel that. Like, I feel it because I'm like, that is exactly what most people thought I was doing, was trying to act a particular way. And I'm like, here's the thing. I do speak Spanish natively. Okay. This is not a learned thing.
Yeah.
But, you know, whatever. And so because of my Midwestern English accent, because I've been emulating fucking accents forever, trying to fit the fuck in somewhere. So,
did you ever try a British accent?
I did.
Because I know she
British Spanish accent.
I'm pretty damn good at the British accent. And Joel
in Spanish?
No, but
I was like,
funny thing though, Joel's English accent is a British
Spanish accent.
So everyone thinks he's British because his accent is like so different, or like
it's so
French.
Thick. It's like that. He sounds like he's global. Like it's so hard to pinpoint that man down based on his voice.
I guess that's true.
Yeah, but
and the way that he looks, people just don't understand.
Because he's not. Yeah. We get like opposite ends of the spectrum, because he always is referred to in English because he's light skin, green eyes, fucking born blonde, right?
Yeah.
And so it's just like, what the fuck are we?
You guys are an ethnically ambiguous couple,
and we met in the Midwest, Mexico. I was born in Germany. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, and also, his birth certificate's valid, and my fucking birth certificate is not. So I'm still bitter about that.
Why is yours not valid?
Because the U.S. Army in 1989 didn't put my parents' names on it. So the actual people that issued me a birth certificate will not issue me a passport. And I'm like, y'all bitches need to get right with yourselves. Like,
that's why she's an alien,
right?
She has no parents.
I actually had to apply for my passport.
So are you considered quote unquote a citizen?
Yes, actually, I made sure to get that shit on lock recently, but.
Yes.
I didn't go to Brownsville without my passport, actually, because I was like,
no, they were taking people's passports and at the border for some people.
But like, I had to apply for my passport as a civilian instead of as a military dependent, because even though birth certificate is, and that's another thing, everyone keeps referring me. No, because the German consulate in 1990 is when they started adopting people born on their soil as Germans.
Oh, damn.
So I am not German.
You don't qualify.
Nope, I'm not German by birth. I am not Puerto Rican by birth or native soil. So I'm like, fuck. Fine.
You're a global citizen, though.
Yeah,
like, I seriously feel like you're just a child of the earth.
Which is why I have such a hard time talking about racism, because my stance on any of it doesn't match anyone else's. So, because it's like,
that is really a unique situation.
It is. Yeah. It's weird. And so, I don't know. And Joel's is too, because he got a lot of shit talking because of the way he looks too. You know, like, oh, you think you're better than us just because of the. It's not that way.
Yeah, but I think his stigmatized, like the way that he was stigmatized, wasn't gonna influence like his access to certain things the way that it did.
Oh, it was damaging for me, not so much for him.
Yeah,
like my self-esteem has gone through a revolution of sorts because I was forced to. Like, if I didn't, I don't know what the hell.
I mean, I'm really, really happy that you're here today and that we're having these conversations, because they're important.
For real.
And we have evolved so much. Like, I don't know, 8-year-old me, whatever the fuck she was listening to, if she heard me today, if I was able to talk to her, I feel like I would blow my little mind in so many ways.
It's like that. It's like that segment in Drag Race during the final.
Yes.
When RuPaul like holds up the baby photo and
picture.
It's like, what would you say to little Jason?
Oh my God.
You know?
Yeah.
That's so, actually, that's the... So, I kid you not, RuPaul's Drag Race is actually how I came to find myself, because...
Me too. That's how I became to accept myself as a queer person, because of that show. I started watching it when I was 17.
Like, the bravery of those queens, I was like, I have no excuse. Like, I don't know. It's another level what they are going through.
Well, you know what they're doing, though? Some of some of them are men who are emulating the way that Black women move through their lives. And I think that's why, because it's being modeled in a way that is putting it on a stage, so audiences are able to digest it in a different way.
That is exactly how I have had to do with myself. I've had to come up with a way that people are okay with me in the workplace, even now, I still have to like tone it back and make it digestible.
Yep.
Be professional, whatever the fuck that
we
means.
have an equity and diversity committee.
Oh, yeah.
But let me tell you, when I get into some real shit, white people ain't got nothing to say.
Well, and they don't have... Oof. I have to share about the community conversation that I was in. Okay, so I was given an opportunity to get paid to sit and have a conversation with some people who were doing some grant research or whatever, and they came out with some questions, and a couple of women of color were there as well, and so there were also these two older white women in the corner, and then I had two other POC next to me. So it was like all the brown people were on one side and then all the white people were on the other side. And we started having a conversation, and the questions were like, what do you want out of your community? And my answers are, I'm pretty simple chick. So I'm like, I just want to have like a safe and open space where we can like have fun and eat and listen to music and have like a block party. Like in my head, that's what I want out of a community. I want to be able to have a block party, have it be fun, safe, and full of like inclusion.
Intersectional.
Yeah. And talking about it, not like trying to hide it or something, like,
or trying to like not
celebrate.
Ignore the people who come out of town from out of town trying to be bitches about it, because that happens too in this town.
It does.
So the thing that Trinity said was to be honest in our conversations of what we're having. And we started talking, and one of the things that came up was having a space for people of color. And the moderator asked, isn't that segregation?
No.
Ooh, that's a good question.
Was the moderator white?
Well, okay, and that's a yes.
But
Ding, ding,
segregation.
It's a good question, though. I'm sorry.
But what is segregation? Let's define it, because it is an institutional happening that happened in the United States that barred Black and brown people from accessing buses, hotels, schools,
socioeconomic
courthouses,
warfare.
everything.
Yeah.
Do you ever think that people of color in America will be able to implement segregation on a broad scale like that? To call us trying to find a space where we can be liberated and have a conversation within ourselves so that we can deal with our own intergenerational trauma, our own colorism, our own shit.
Yeah.
And to say that that segregation is fucking
Ridiculous.
it's violent.
It is. Yeah.
I guess I feel like it's a good question, not because I feel it's a valid word, but I feel it's a good question to be asked, because I feel like he did not maybe understand what that
I
was.
wouldn't have used the word segregation.
No, the wording was bad. And the fact that he's in a position of power where he's representing such a large and inclusive institution.
Why would you have someone who's white moderate a conversation about race?
It wasn't about race. It was about community. But it just happened to go to that way because we actually had a room that was diverse.
Right.
Yeah. And I think it's good that he asked, because it was a teachable moment. And you do that with kids all the time.
They didn't learn. That's the thing.
Oh.
There was two women that were there, and one of them outright left because she felt that she wasn't being given space in this conversation.
Güera?
It was an older white woman with a pink hat. And I personally get like really...
Like one of the pink pussy hats?
She's an elderly woman with a pink hat. That's all I'm going to describe her as.
Yuck.
Well, I mean, just like we're trying to barely break down barriers that our parents went through, this is another thing. But if you like the thing that really gets me is that if it's never spoken out loud, it can never be addressed. Even if you're not converting somebody, how are you going to get the message across if no one asked the question? So the fact that somebody dared to ask, I'm not applauding anyone. I'm just saying.
I'm thinking of like just the fact that we were having a conversation about something very similar before we started our official community conversation within ourselves. They were sharing how there was criticism for how Black Lawrence, which is a local group here, and Black Lives Matter Lawrence were holding different events or sponsoring different events around town. that had an all black artist list. And there was a comment that said this show lacks diversity.
No, it doesn't. Not when you live in a predominantly white community.
And this is